So really, it kind of goes back to the wolf reintroduction, all the way back to that. I know that CRWM wasn't necessarily around during that time, but that's kind of when it started piquing my interest, the ballot box biology. And I was really just trying to educate people, like, let's leave wildlife management in the experts' hands. Let's not leave it up to the Front Range or to people, like you said, that are just uneducated, not hunters, like that kind of thing, right? So obviously that passed. We see how that's gone.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's been a little wild. But so then when this came about with the mountain lion in 127, when this became a proposition and all that, that's when I, same thing, just wanted to advocate and educate people. I personally am not a mountain lion hunter, but it's not necessarily just about that, right? It's about, again, wildlife management, leaving it in the hands of the experts and not ballot box biology, right? So
1,000%. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, I have no desire to go hunt lions.
Right.
But I saw the underlying just being involved with it. That's crazy that you were involved with the wolf thing too, because that we were tried to be a voice for it, but that we didn't have like a Dan Gates back then. There was a few people that were kind of playing in that space, but like, I really feel like he's the man that kind of held everybody together, brought everybody together, was the face of it. And it blows me away how well spoken he is and how ruthless he can be, but politically correct.
Right. And that's the thing too. It's like, yeah, we don't all mountain lion hunt. We don't all elk hunt. It's like, but if you realize, like, if this is taken away, they're just going to start chipping away at other stuff. So it's a matter of like getting everybody together to go against this one thing, because eventually it's going to affect all of us, right? So I think that that's where Dan did an awesome job, because he's like, it's not just about mountain lion hunting. Let's not just get the mountain lion hunters. Let's get the elk hunters and the deer. Like, everybody just needs to come together to kind of fight this together, because it's going to affect all of us, right?
Yeah, I think another thing too that was most people don't really get to experience this or see this. And I've always kind of said, it's like, if you're gonna be able to vote on wildlife policy or like, let's say, defund the police, I think it has to be confined in people that are either veterans in that job or have experienced that job or have been on so many ride-alongs or like has some sort of experience in it. Right. And I know that's really hard to do, because not every person in those positions is a good person, right? So you're going to have a few bad apples. I mean, it's that way in the hunting community too, exactly. Right? But I think that nobody has more of an intimate setting with nature other than hunters or wildlife photographers, because you're really trying to fit in with nature. You're trying to be quiet. You have to
understand them. And
you're understanding the wind. You're understanding smell, like the smell of cow urine. Like, anybody that hunts elk knows exactly what that is. Right. It almost gets like excited. You're smelling piss, right? Like, some guys spray it on themselves, like, I've been guilty of that. I've done it before. And, like back in the day, we used to think that was like the way to go. You smell horrible, but like, to me, it's almost like a good odor. Yeah. When I get into a wallow or something, I'm like, all right, we're here. Yeah. Like,
it is exciting.
It's super exciting. So I think experiencing those little things, I don't think people do when you're on a mountain bike or when you're on a trail run, and especially if you have AirPods or you're just flying down a hill on a mountain bike, and there's nothing against that.
Right.
I think people still have connections with nature, but I just don't think it's as intimate. I don't think you go as I don't go as far on a mountain bike ride as I do in the backcountry pursuing elk. Right. I'm not I'm not mountain biking into like this steep ravine.
Yeah, you're on a trail that's groomed, and you have a certain distance that you're going to go, and
you're normally encountering other people. Like, you're trying to stay away from other people, honestly, when you're hunting. For the most part.
And hunting, I mean, it really is just so primitive. Like, it takes you back to your primal instincts and your primal roots. Just like you said, paying attention to the smells and the wind and the migration corridors and all the things, right?
Yeah, and really understanding like animals and their true like beauty, I guess. And I think that's why I can argue that hunters care more about animals than just the person that parks and is experiencing nature through a hike or a backcountry backpack trip or something like that.
Or you're at Rocky Mountain National Park and the elk are everywhere and they're
right,
just,
or Evergreen. I mean, it's like that here. We have resident elk that are it's insane. We all have like 300 class bulls walk down Main Street here in front of the studio. So
smart bulls.
Yeah, super smart. It's crazy because they show up about like August 28th or something like that.
They're here through like November.
Yeah, if you're a bow hunter, you will understand this because the first hunting season is archery season and it starts September 2nd.
Yeah,
so they move like this huge bull. I'll show you a photo of him here in a little bit. Or actually, Tyler, you can pull it up. Go to earthironsociety.com.
Well, that's one thing that, so going back to like, hunters being some of the biggest wildlife lovers, that's one thing that kills me the most is when I'm out at one of the open spaces or something at work and we see a deer and they look at me and they're like, hey, there's a deer. I bet you want to shoot it. And it's like, no, it's not like that. Like hunters, and like we said, there are some that are, bad apples, but for the most part, like we respect wildlife.
Yeah.
They live in the elements. They're out there 24/7. And we just respect how they live and move and breed and, and what they eat and how they're there throughout the whole winter and, all the stuff. So
this is my favorite thing to do is catch them on camera.
Wow.
And that's really pixelated. It should load. This is on the golf course in Evergreen.
Wow.
It looks like it's somewhere else.
It really is Rocky Mountain
But,
National Park.
I mean, this guy, I've named him, right? So here we go. I talk about giving animals human characteristics, but I've named him King because every year, and this is from a few years ago. This year he was 9 by 11, I think, and just this massive bull.
He's a monster.
And he comes back every year. It's the same bull, and
it's
he just
so cool
thrives.
how you see him like every year, and they're similar, but there's some difference to them.
I'm wondering when he's not going to come back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Did you ever see the bull Brutus in Rocky Mountain National Park, Marine Park?
Brutus? Was that a few years ago?
It was.
It's not split 5.
Some guy found his he expired, but he found his full skull, and he's like,
I didn't know about that.
This iconic elk.
I did know that Peanut. Did you know about Peanut?
No.
So Peanut last year in Rocky Mountain National Park was like a character. He was charging vehicles and like rubbing on the cars, and I mean, he's a pretty aggressive bull.
Wow.
But they found out. So he was there in September, and they found out somebody took him. I don't know if it was archery or rifle season, but they found out that a hunter took him. I mean, he was a nice bull too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the game, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, you kind of want like. There's no way that I would pass on King if I saw him.
Yeah.
In a prime archery spot and I had a legal tag to take him. I mean, his teeth are so worn out that he's probably having trouble eating grass now. Like, so the bull's probably going to be like 12. He's got like gray hair almost. I mean, he's getting up there, and you're starting to see his rack is getting smaller because it's starting to degenerate. Mm-hmm. So like, those are the bulls that you kind of want to take out of the gene pool, right? Like, they've spread their gene enough. They've had their time. So it's like, it's kind of a misconception that hunters are going after the biggest, baddest animals solely for bragging rights or something like that. Right. There is also some science behind it as well.
Go for the older one because, like you said, they're going to start deteriorating and not being able to eat.
Which is better for the herd, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or get injured because they're trying to fight and they're not as strong as they were. And
I think that hunters understand wildlife biology much more because they have to read the rules and regulations and recognize sex, and then also like point restrictions, right? Like, the reason why those are there is so you're not killing a young bull before he can have time to procreate, right? Like it's better for the herd. Like it's all about what's better for the entire population of the species.
Right.
To the point where people are pouring their money into Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation or Ducks Unlimited. And like, you know, a lot of people that hunt and fish are blue collar. Like, I consider myself that, you know.
Right.
And you, and even though I'm in the podcast space, like, I still work hard for my money, but I also put my money into that, whether I'm buying equipment, tags, And then also donations, you know,
Right.
like donating to CRWM or people that protect it or
Yep.
organizations
Like you
that
said,
protect
Rocky
it.
Mountain National Park, or
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. And that's the thing too. It's like, it's not just a hobby. Like it becomes your lifestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
All year long, you're training for the backcountry and training for that pack out. And, you know, it just becomes ingrained in you that that's just part of your life, right? It's not just a hobby that you do, you know, go out for archery in August or go out for 10 days in October. You know, it just becomes who you are, kind
You
of.
can't just go out and be successful for, I mean, you can have some luck, but like you said, it's a year-long thing. Like the only reason that I chase any sort of fitness in my life, honestly, is I'd probably just be on the lazy boy watching sports, yelling at the TV, drinking beer.
But you got to pick up that kettlebell
I gotta
because you
pick
got that hunt in August.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
got to shoot
yeah.
my bow. I got to go to American Bowman. I got to hike. I got to start
Yep.
rucking. I got to,
Yeah.
you know, packing a quarter out is no easy feat, you know.
Right,
And you got
right.
it, if you're by yourself, that's 5 or 6 trips, and
Yeah,
you got it
it's a
depending on
lot.
how deep you are.
Yeah.
And elk live in deep, dark holes. It's
Right.
not going to be like you're going to get on a trail and walk out. Or
Yep.
my experience where I hunt, I've never killed anything where it was just like an easy, like, oh, it's right by
Right,
the
just
road. We can pull
downhill.
the truck
Yeah.
up, or you know, or it's on this ranch. Like,
It's funny because so my very first pack out, it was a bull that my husband had killed. And I mean, I didn't know what I was getting into. I grew up in Georgia. Like I didn't.
yeah, I
hunt
want
in
to
the
dive into this.
backcountry.
Let's
Yeah.
just start from the
Yeah,
beginning.
okay.
If you're not checking out the Mountainside Podcast on YouTube, you absolutely should be. If you like the content that we create here and you want to help support the podcast, please take a moment, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that notification bell.
Grew up in Georgia, so not
Grew up
in
in
the
Georgia.
Rocky Mountains.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Grew up, family's blue collar. We didn't grow up hunting. Like my dad was a hunter. His dad wasn't a hunter. Like I think my uncle hunted a little bit, but I mean, we didn't even have guns in our house. Like grew up very rural area of Georgia. My parents had like a sawed-off BB gun to shoot off like stray dogs when they would come around, but it wasn't like
Sawed off BB gun.
Yeah, sawed-off BB gun.
Nice.
My mom would grab when a dog came in the yard, you know. But yeah, just didn't grow up hunting. The first time I ever went hunting was with a girlfriend and her brother in Georgia, and we sat.